welcome to Open Up's 30 Days of Practice. My name is Nikki. Today we'll be focusing on some floor work together. If you have a blanket, go ahead and bring it along as a prop. First, we'll get our blanket set up. Start with a squarish rectangle fold. We're going to fold it in half again, so it's nice and long, and then fold it in half one more time. So we have a good cushion to place on the mat. Find a seat on your blanket, whether it's legs straight out or crossed shin over shin like I am. Really root your sits bones into the blanket. Lift your torso nice and tall. Bring your shoulders up close to your ears and then let them go. We're going to start with a cleansing breath together. Let's inhale through our nose. Open your mouth, let it all go. Very nice. Try that again. It felt good. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, let it out through the mouth. Very nice. Now, I invite you to place your hands around your ribs so that you can really feel your rib cage expanding and contracting as we begin to breathe together for the count of 3. So, if you'd like to try this, fingers can be spread wide in the front side of your body, and then your thumbs can wrap around the back side of your body. Although our elbows are out, really try to lower your shoulders from your ears. But even just a simple breath, you can start to feel that rib cage expand. It helps me breathe a little bit better and stay in tune with my body. If this isn't feeling good for you, you can try something else. You can place hands back down on your knees or your thighs, or even try one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. So we have a couple of options here. We're going to start by taking an inhale for the count of 3 through your nose. We'll pause at the top and then we'll exhale for the count of 3. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Fill your lungs. Empty your lungs. Fill your lungs. And let it all out. Very nice. We're going to find a seat with our blanket under our bum. I'll turn to the side so that you can see me a little bit better. I like to place this blanket here because it gives me a little bit more space to bend forward. You'll see what I mean. You can try it with and without the blanket too. We'll start by extending our legs nice and long in front of us, flexing our toes towards our face. Really see if you can even get that pinky side to flex towards you. You should feel some engagement in your thighs here as you lift your torso tall. Sits bones are rooted into the blanket. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, start to tip forward at the hips as you reach your arms to the front of the mat. You may not go very far. This is about as far as I go without rounding my spine. Once you've hit your limits of reach, go ahead, round your spine, and you can grab at your shins or your calves, your ankles, or even your feet if that's accessible. Really try to let your head relax let's take a deep breath in through our nose for the count of 3. And exhale for the count of 3. Keeping that rounded spine, go ahead and roll up one bone at a time until you come to sit. Notice how the breathing felt when we were bent over forward compared to when we were seated tall. Let's try that again. Really root into your blanket, sitting up tall, flex your feet a lot, feel those thighs engage. Arms lift up towards the ceiling, inhale. Exhale, tip forward at the hips, reach, reach, reach until you can't reach anymore. Let your spine curl as your head comes close to your knees. Knees can be bent a lot here. They can be bent a ton. Maybe you even use them as a resting place for your head. Take a moment to breathe here on your own. And then roll up nice and slow, stacking each vertebrae on top of the other. Very nice. Come to sit cross-legged on your blanket again. Notice which shin is in front. Most of us tend to have that go-to shin. For me, my left shin tends to cross in front. I hardly ever place my right in front, but we'll get there in a moment. So sitting tall, chest is open here. Reach your arms up to the sky. And then we're going to reach forward, letting our backs round. If you can plant your hands on the floor, go ahead and do so. Let your head be heavy. Walk your hands one on top of the other until they reach over to a side. For me, I'm going to my right side first. Think about pressing your opposite hip into the mat. So for me, I'm reaching right, but I'm thinking about pressing down with my left hip bone. Slowly walk your hands back to center. Reach them forward. Let your chest be heavy here. Hand over hand, walk to the opposite side. For me, it's the left. I'm feeling my right side body stretch as I force is a strong word, as I encourage my right hip point, sit bone, to go down towards the mat. There we go. Walk hand over hand back to center. Pause here. Hands walk back towards your body as you roll up to a seat. Give your shoulders a nice roll back, and then a big roll forward. Switch the crossing of your shins here. So this might be the weird way. Get yourself situated. Arms reach up to the sky. We're going to try that again with the opposite shin across in front. So here as I reach forward, I want to think about keeping my sits bones on the blanket. And then as I walk to one side, nice and slow, I want to keep both of my sits bones on the blanket again, really focusing on that opposite side. Back to center. Reach forward. Try and let your chest and your head be heavy. And then walk to the opposite side. Feeling a nice stretch through your side body. as you really try to rotate your chest so it's facing the ground. Back to center. One last time here before we come up. Did you notice a difference when we crossed the opposite shin in front? I definitely did. It's funny to think about how we're accustomed to always doing things a certain way. From here, you can remain seated on your blanket. Legs will come out in front of you. Bend one knee and bring it in towards your chest. We're going to turn our torso towards that bent knee as we hug the knee closer to us. Keeping our chest open. If you'd like to plant your hand back behind you, that can give you a little bit more of an ability to open your chest. You have some leverage here. Come back to center. Extend both legs. Pull your opposite knee into your chest. Lift tall here. Turn towards your bent knee. Maybe you hug in. As you keep your chest open, maybe you place your hand back behind you to give you a little more leverage to peel your heart open. As you stay lifted, so not slumped over, but crown extending towards the ceiling. Back to center, extend both legs. Very nice. We're going to come to lie on our back, so you can take that blanket off to the side for now. Let yourself come slowly down onto your back. Start by extending your legs in one direction and reaching your arms back behind you in the opposite direction. Try to pull your body apart like a giant rubber band and let it go. Arms can come back down by your side. Pull your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a hug here. Roll your ankle in one direction and then switch directions. Extend that bent leg. Straighten it out here. Pull your opposite knee into your chest. Give it a nice squeeze. And then begin to roll your ankle in one direction. And then the opposite direction. Let your legs go long. Bring both knees into your chest. Give them a big squeeze. You can lift your shoulders off the mat, bringing your forehead closer to your knees, rolling yourself up into a tiny little ball. Let your head come back to rest on the mat. Widen your knees, and then pull your knees in towards your armpits this time. So knees are wide. You should feel it in your hips. Grab towards your feet. Flex your feet a lot towards your face. And if you can, try to reach and grab the bottoms of your feet. So we're gonna bind here. Slowly start to raise your feet up towards the ceiling while keeping your knees bent towards your armpits. Imagine you're stamping your feet on the ceiling here, so they're really flexed. Think about pressing your tailbone at the very bottom of your spine into the mat. The back of your head is on the mat here. You can begin to rock side to side if that feels nice. Pause here for a moment. Maybe straighten one leg or begin to straighten. My knees certainly don't get straight here. One leg and then the other, stretching out the backs of your legs, which can feel really nice. Very good. Release the bottoms of the feet. Pull your knees back in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug. Point your toes. Set your feet down onto the mat. We're going to come into bridge pose, but just a shallow bridge, nothing too high. So we'll plant our feet on the mat, toes point forward. I like to walk my feet so that I can barely graze my ankles with my fingertips. Plant your hands next to you on the mat, fingers spread wide. They're going to give you some base for balance. The back of your head should be resting on the mat. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, press into your hands, into your feet, and begin to lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Think about energetically pressing your knees towards your toes. Breathe. Slowly lower back down. Take your arms out wide like a T. Palms will be pressing onto the floor. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Shift your hips over to the right and let your knees fall to the left. T-twist. Your face should be pointed straight up towards the ceiling, palms pressing down towards the mat. Remember to breathe here. Slowly roll back to center, giving yourself a nice big hug. Bridge pose one more time. So find that position where feet are about shoulder width apart, knees pointing up towards the ceiling, toes pointing straight ahead. Fingertips graze the heels. Press into the hands and into the feet. Inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up towards the sky. Knees press forward towards the front of the mat. Chest is open. Lower your hips back down to the mat. Pull your knees into your chest. Point your toes. Maybe shoulders lift off the mat. Maybe chin tucks into chest. Lower your shoulders back down. Head comes back to the mat. Shift your hips an inch or two to the left. Let your knees fall to the right. I'm just going to scooch over a little close to the wall here. Chest opens up towards the ceiling. Palms press into the mat. Slowly bring your knees back to center. Give yourself one more squeeze here. If you've rolled off the mat like me, find yourself back on the mat. If your blanket is still handy, I invite you to place it under your hips at the small of your back. Bring your knees in towards your chest and then reach your feet up towards the ceiling. You can flex your feet towards your face, feeling a stretch for the backs of the legs. The blanket here helps lift your hips up off the ground. If that doesn't feel good in your body, other options are creating a diamond shape and then placing that under your tailbone. It gives you that same little bit of leverage to let your hips come away from the mat, but can sometimes feel a little more balanced than the blanket. So experiment with your preference, blanket or hands, or maybe nothing. We're going to take a few breaths here, just like we did at the beginning. If you'd like to place your hands around your rib cage with your elbows out to the side, go ahead and do so now. Take a deep inhale through your nose for the count of 3, 2, 1. Exhale, let the air go. 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let the lungs come together. Inhale, lungs spread apart. Exhale, air is empty. Thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free to hang out here with legs up to the sky, or go ahead and bring them down for a rest.